tell the coordinators what you want. I just don't get it. I don't. These coaches are so chummy with each other that they don't want to throw their guy under the bus. You're getting paid the $10 million. He's not. Take a rein and change the game plan. Right. If it's not working and the offensive coordinator is not getting it done, you need to have input.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
You love this segment. You nicknamed this segment. You sort of put your mark on it with the rats with the cash.
There's rats.
Right, and they're the garbage games. One of the games...
What are you saying, rats hang out in garbage? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, they do. Hang out in New York City. You'll see it.
A lot of rats in New York City. That's the way it is, man. Hey, we don't want to throw out any names out there. Exactly.
Philly, too. We don't talk about that.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
I think Kendre Miller's role continues to grow in this offense. So I think as you're looking at bye weeks continuing on and looking for running back depth, as always, we all know the dynamic can change in a minute, right? We've done this so many times in the last couple of weeks. We were adding Woody Marks before his game. We were adding Brashard Smith last week. I still want to add Brashard Smith this week. I want to add the guys that I think have upside for the second half, and Kendre Miller is definitely one of those backs.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
I apologize to our fans. We need to do better. That's all you need to say, Scott, right? But Tua goes out there, my kids love me. I'm rich. I don't care. You got your dumbass coach coming out here, and we play to win. You got to win the game, and you got to win. And, the Dolphins press conferences make it way worse. If I was a Dolphin fan, I just want to punch these guys in the face.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
It's time to rise and grind. It's the early line right here on the SportsGrid Network, and away we go over the next 2 hours. I tell you this every single morning. We are your newspaper in the digital age. You turn us on, we give you all the information that you need to know. What happened last night, and also looking forward to what's going to happen today and later in the week. Donnie writes out, along with Joe Ranieri, it's just how the party starts. Yesterday, we had doubleheaders in the NFL, in Major League Baseball. We told you right here on the show, after a sweep on Friday, we were going to do it again on a Monday, and we clearly did that as well. So you might have to wait a little bit to get our bye bets, but we're going to build this show up and give the people the information, Joe, that they need to know on everything. It's just what we do.
What we do each and every day, Donnie, it's rinse and repeat. We give out a couple of winners, point you in the right direction, give you all the information you need to know about being profitable, and we do it again tomorrow morning as well. You got to love it, Donnie.
Absolutely. Last night, we were talking about let's pay this, let's do this, let's fade the public. They like the Bills. Your boy DRS liked Atlanta. But it's time to get caffeinated. Joe's firing up. What's up with this coaching carousel, Joe?
Inevitably, Donnie, it's that time of year again, isn't the annual coaching carousel? It's always inevitable because at some point in the season, usually right around week 6 or 7, things aren't going as planned for a lot of teams, not just in the NFL, but of course we noticed that in college football as well. But yesterday, we got our first casualty in the NFL, and the Tennessee Titans went ahead and fired up Brian Callahan. Why he was the coach, I have absolutely no idea. But, of course, the fans in Tennessee are celebrating right now. But I don't know how long that's going to last here, Donnie. And here is a very, very cautious tale. Be very careful what you wish for, fans, when it comes to this time of year and getting guys out of town, because you know who Callahan replaced, right? Yeah, his name was Mike Vrabel, who apparently could not coach anymore in Tennessee. They wanted to go in a different direction. They couldn't wait to run the guy out of town. Well, now he is now of the first place New England Patriots head coach. And in a beautiful poetic twist of fate from football gods, Guess who the Patriots play this weekend, Donnie? Yes, the Tennessee Titans. And you thought you got an upgrade, Tennessee, with Callahan, but you are about to get embarrassed by the very guy that you could not wait to get rid of. And it's not just the Titans, right? We saw Penn State fire James Franklin after a 3-game losing streak. Oregon State couldn't win a game because they're Oregon State football, but their coach is gone. The first sign of trouble, Donnie, what do the fans, what do the front offices, what do the athletic directors always do? It's fire the coach. But the coach is still there in Miami, Donnie, whose quarterback basically called him out for a lack of leadership and that nobody in this locker room wants to participate. Yikes. And he still has a job. And it brings me to my guy, Aaron Glenn with the Jets. And I'm telling you, I get the exact same sinking feeling watching him, Donnie, that I got watching Joe Judge be announced as the Giants' new head coach. Sometimes you just know a guy is in way over his head. But that's the point. The hardest thing to find in the world is a starting quarterback in the NFL, or even college football for that matter. You know, the second hardest thing to find, apparently, Donnie, is a competent head coach. So I'm telling you, Harbaugh, I'm telling you, Baltimore Raven fans, be very careful what you wish for, because the grass is not always greener on the other side, because the devil you know is often, Donnie, better than the devil you don't.
Exactly. It's great points that Joe brings up, too, because understand this, like, coaches flounder in certain situations. Why? Because sometimes leadership is bad. And I'm not even talking about the coach. Bud Adams passes away for the Tennessee Titans, gives it over to his daughter. They've been an absolute train wreck. Stephen Ross of the Miami Dolphins, I mean, this is a guy telling his head coach to lose, and nobody's on the same page, and now he's going to get a lawsuit, and he's probably going to lose that lawsuit. And then you take a look at the New York Jets and Woody Johnson. Like, leader, it's no surprise. You're like, man, these coaches can't succeed because the leadership is absolutely terrible. But Joe is right. When you have something good, like Vrabel was the only bright spot in that Tennessee organization. Like, yeah, beat it to the streets. We'll be better with Brian Callahan, who most people can't pick out of a lineup. And now he is in a lineup looking for a new job. Great stuff by Caffeinated Joe. Let's get to the early lineup here and cruise through the Atlanta Falcons last night. What a performance at home. I should say, what a performance out of Bijan Robinson. 19 carries, $170 on the ground, touchdown, 9 yards per carry, along with 81. They hammered the Buffalo Bills, who've now lost 2 straight, Joe.
You know, Donnie, and it's something we got to look into, because along the way, the Bills once again got decimated by injuries in that game, both before the game started, during the game. A lot of key pieces for them went down, and ultimately the Bills lost because of 2 guys. They could not stop Robinson. They could not stop Drake London. Nobody else really participated in that game for Atlanta outside of those 2, Donnie. But when you're dropping like flies and you're the Buffalo Bills, the fact that it was even that close is pretty impressive.
Took the points in both games last night. Best bet right here on the show for me was the Atlanta Falcons plus 4.5. Joe also had the under. Sweep, sweep, sweep. It's the way we get down. But I also like the Chicago Bears getting 5.5 points yesterday, 25-24. And oh, yeah, Joe, it's not a spread line, but 49.5 was that total. Woohoo! Right on the line. The Bears kick it away and walk off 25-24.
Yeah, I did. I like that under at 50, and we snuck in there with a walk-off backup kicker, Jake Moody field goal, because, of course, Santos was questionable to begin with for the Bears there. Of course, kickers are even going down, Donnie. It's kind of crazy. But finally, I guess in the week off, the Bears realized that they have this running back named Swift, and he's actually pretty good. So if you get the ball in his hands and let him touch it, good things can happen, and they did last night for him.
It's amazing. You watch last night, and you see the running game, 14 for 108. Oh, that team won. Bijan Robinson runs wild on Buffalo. Oh, that team won. Get the ground game started, opens up your passing game. It's pretty simple at this point. You know who's going to be able to open up the passing game? Anybody who plays the Detroit Lions. Why? Because their entire secondary is either hurt, injured, or suspended. Brian Branch throwing punches after the game. He's out of game now.
We knew that was coming, Donnie. You knew the minute his head coach, Dan Campbell, came up to the podium and publicly apologized to the Chiefs, you knew bad things were coming Branch's way.
How about this next one here? Brian Callahan, who you just yelled at here. Like, does anybody, like, you even throw a part, like, Brian Callahan got fired. Most people are like, is that even a coach? Like, who actually is that? Yeah, that's how anonymous he should be at this point. He's out, Joe.
Got to go. I mean, again,
like,
at least Tennessee recognizes the mistake and they're trying to move on from it. But You know, you get to see Vrabel on the other sideline here knowing he was yours. Good luck with that this weekend.
Yeah, and by the way, Rob Thompson is going to stay in Philadelphia as a part of it. It ain't his fault. The players just didn't step up. And Mike Shield, he got the opposite. It's your fault, man. Your players stepped up. I guess they think you're out of here. Baseball manager staying, one going.
Yeah, well, it's like, I think maybe it's best you retire now, Mike. What do you think? Maybe, retire. That's it. Save a little face. We'll let you retire. And listen, Rob Thompson only answers the phone from the analytics guys anyway. We all know that, Donnie.
How about that? 57 years old in baseball years. That's like being a 16-year-old. So he has a long way to go if he wanted to continue managing. Retiring at 57, that's crazy work. I'll tell you what else is crazy work. Top 25 released for college basketball. I'm not ready, Joe. I'm not ready. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, isn't it, Donnie? Look at Houston up at the top there. Gators up at the UConn. It's like rinse and repeat. Let's get more teams that can't win a damn tournament in it. Come on, let's go.
I'll tell you how to succeed in that, Joe. All you do is open up the tournament, double down. Let's get extra teams in the tournament. We all love that stuff. You notice we love Spreadlines coming up. Joe's going to break it all down. Everything you need to know. We got you covered.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Well, Shadur, which quarterbacks are you talking about? Because there's some bad quarterback play out there, but the dude who can't beat Dylan Gabriel out for a job and can't beat Joe Flacco out for a job certainly can't lay claim to being better than any other quarterback in the league.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
Major League Baseball has decided it is time to put balls and strikes not just in the hands of the umpires, but also the robot umpires, as they say. The ABS system is now officially in place starting next season. Now, keep in mind, they're not just throwing this out there. They have used this at the Arizona Fall League, and they've also used it at different levels of the minor leagues as well.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
That's a lot for a closer. 10. You're not a closer anymore if you blow 10 games. I mean, my goodness.
He's mentally broken too. Like, it's to the point where, like, Dodger fans aren't even mad at him; they're more mad at the Dodgers for putting him out there.
Putting him in,
right? It's more so.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, guys, like, he's done.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid. It's the most beautiful time of the year. No, not because of foliage or pumpkin spice lattes. It's because of football. SportsGrid has you covered all season long, covering every snap, every score, and every line move. Prepare, watch, win. Weekends are for winners. Only on SportsGrid.
Time for those spread lines that we love each and every morning, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We set the table for what you need to know maybe this evening and also later in the week. It's like getting the headline and then getting the spread behind it and making sense of it here. How about the first one? Love this. 3:15, 3:16 rotation, 7 o'clock Friday night, hot in Miami. Louisville comes to town against the number 2 Miami Hurricanes. This line, however, had a look-ahead line around 15.5. We're now below 14s to 13.5, depending on where you're shopping at. A total of 52.5. This is the time that we look at the Miami Hurricanes, Joe, and say they're a really good football team. But we've seen this in the past. Winning games you're supposed to win hasn't always been the easiest task for the Hurricanes. What's your spread line on this one, Joe?
So this is an interesting line, right, Donnie? Because we know the look-ahead line was a little bit higher. I do think that this is a game, Friday night ACC action, that will likely garner a lot of public attention as well here. But I don't know if the public is going to run to the window here and back Louisville, who quite honestly hasn't looked all that well. And if you are, then you're basically, it's not so much a bet on Louisville as it would be a bet against the University of Miami, who for some reason the betting community is still waiting for the other shoe to drop here. But I don't get it. I mean, to take this down, it was over 2 touchdowns, Donnie, like you said, 15.5, 14.5. It was as low as 12.5. And now it's 13.5 here. And I don't know if that's because it certainly isn't the public running to back Louisville. This could be one of those head fake situations where the early money comes in to push it down under 2 touchdowns. Maybe the public follows suit. And then I guarantee you before Friday, Donnie, this line will land over 2 touchdowns. Bet it now if you're looking at the U on Friday.
Yeah, or just take Miami in the first half where they run up that 21-point lead and then just take their foot off the gas pedal in the fourth quarter. Many different ways, but Miami needs this win. Stay number 2. Maybe it could be a special year down on South Beach because, boy, the Dolphins ain't going to give you a special year down there in Miami. Let's keep it moving. Another Friday night game, Joe, Nebraska and Minnesota, 8 p.m. on Friday. This line opened up as a 5.5-point favorite towards Nebraska. We now see it as high as 9.5 at some outlets and a total of 46.5. Is this an audition for Matt Rule saying, hey, Penn State, watch me beat up Minnesota. I can do this for you. What's the spread line here?
Well, this was as low as 4.5 in the market when it opened, Donnie. And then it got to about 6.5 yesterday, just when we were on the show. And now look at it. Now it's up to 8.5 and 9 in a lot of spots. And the only reason that's happening is I don't think this is so much an indictment on Nebraska and Matt Rule as this is a absolute utter fade by the pros of PJ Fleck and what's happening in Minnesota here. So this line tells me the market is sticking a fork in Minnesota, which means we probably should as well.
PJ Fleck might look really good at Penn State. Here's Penn State rambles around for head coach where they want integrity. That's the most important thing. Think about that one. Take a look at college football. You say, Donnie, we're talking about Friday games. And what about Saturday games? What about Tuesday night football, Joe? We got that tonight. 3:05, 3:06 on the rotation. An 8 o'clock start. Tonight, people. Florida International, Western Kentucky. Opening line, 7.5 range. We now see as high as 10s in the marketplace this morning. 56.5 total. Tuesday football. What's that spread line, Joe?
Well, it's important to remember here, Donnie, again, Tuesday night football, college, right? I guarantee you this line has not moved 2 points because the public ran to the window to back Western Kentucky in any way, shape, or form. So understand when the handle is low on some of these early week games with teams that most of the public don't know where Western Kentucky is, what are the Hilltoppers, who. That's not moving it. What's moving it is the pros have taken a clear stance and a line in the sand here. They like Western Kentucky. Both these defenses, by the way, are just awful. Would not shock me at all if this game is a absolute wild shootout.
I'll tell you what game we might be having a wild shootout, and I sort of got to shed a little bit of tears for this one. We're going to head to the NFL, and this is a game between Tampa Bay and Detroit. It's Monday Night Football. Oh, my goodness, what an unbelievable battle. Line opens up at 5.5, dips to 4.5 at most outlets here. Total listed at 52.5. We're still expecting points. The spread line question for me to you, Joe, is who the heck is playing in this game for either one of these teams?
Well, that's the whole thing, right? And that definitely is bears watching here on what is going on. I mean, both of these teams, right? The Bucs flying high. But my goodness here, this is going to be a Monday night game, right? I think this is another doubleheader Monday night next week.
Yes, it is.
The Bucs and the Lions, I think, play in the earlier game. But my goodness, I mean, you're right here. The Lions in that secondary going up again. And we've already seen from Baker Mayfield, he'll have no problem lighting up secondaries that are injured. He did it against Seattle. And it doesn't matter who his receivers are, but it's going to be interesting to see where this line sits and where it goes, depending on during the week, what announcements that we get. It's kind of sitting in no man's land. You know, it was in that 4 to 5.5 line somewhere in there, which basically means the books, and this is important to know, the books have no clue either at this point. They're hoping the market pushes it one way or the other. But this is all going to depend on injury news and who's in and who's out as we get a little bit closer.
No wide receivers for the Bucs, no DBs for the Lions. Let's get after it, people. But how about this game, 1 o'clock on Sunday, Carolina and the New York Jets? Is this a paper bag game where you just put a paper bag over your head and show up to the Jets game? And also, is Justin Fields going to be your starting quarterback? A 1.5-point favorite for Carolina and a 42.5-point spread, Joe. The spread line is what on this disaster for the Jets?
Winless Jets, clearly a coach that's in over his head, but they are our favorite.
No.
They're the favorite? That's how this game opened up here. I do not understand. Listen, Carolina hasn't won a game on the road yet. That's a big question mark, but I think these are two organizations clearly heading in different directions right now. One has a quarterback, the other one doesn't. Yeah, I would hop on the Panthers sooner rather than later. They'll get their first road win in this spot here.
Rumblings from the team itself. They knew from day number one Tyrod Taylor was the better quarterback. This is not a good sign for a head coach that's looking to make some headway in that locker room where nobody trusts the quarterback when they think the backup is better. You better put that backup in sooner than later or you'll be fired there in New York City. Come on back here. We're going to talk last night's action.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
You may be surprised, because I am, that the athlete in the world who has become the first billionaire is Cristiano Ronaldo. I did not know that, and I did not have that on my bingo card. So after his contract that he just signed, it means that he's the first athlete to ever earn $1 billion playing sports.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
This one's for you, Tommy Reynolds. I know you're a Rochester Americans guy, but the big team, the Buffalo Sabres, at home against the listless Rangers. Can we get plus 102? We can in overtime. Knockaroo does it again. Buffalo over the Rangers.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
I told you Vladimir Guerrero would hit a home run. He hits a home run on his first pitch. 2-run shot, 2-0 Jays. And I gave you Suarez earlier. I'm telling you, Scott, Contreras last night, Story the other night, bro, every night I've been hitting these home run props. And not the easy Ohtani ones at plus 190. Right. These are plus 450s, baby.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Boy, I got to tell you, the NFL is maddening at times. But when you're winning money, you deal with the madness. You have a lot of fun, and you just keep it moving at this point. But if you're looking at a week-to-week league, which Joe Ranier will tell you each and every time, what you see on one Sunday is not what you get on the next Sunday. 2 short weeks ago, we're talking about the Buffalo Bills, the last unbeaten team in the NFL, home against the New England Patriots. Ooh, they lost a tough game here. Then they'd have to go on the road and take on a rested Atlanta Falcons team. And they get pummeled last night and get even more injured, score 14 points, and lose by double digits as a 4.5 to 3.5 point favorite last night. That's where we're going to start with the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen, you can only do so much. He is Superman. 15 of 26, $180, 2 touchdowns, but 2 interceptions. James Cook, 17 carries for 87 yards. The wide receivers were beat up. They were getting injured in pregame. How do we assess the Buffalo Bills with a 10-point loss coming out of this Monday Night Football game, Joe?
They're a mess, Donnie. They are an absolute mess here. I think 8 more penalties last night, coming off of back-to-back games in which they got called for at least 11 that were accepted. So not a good situation. The wheels are kind of falling off the Bills here a little bit. Listen, they've been dealing with injuries now for a while, right? I mean, it's not like they've been healthy and all of a sudden now the defensive side of the ball is an issue. No, it's been an issue ever since Ed Oliver went down, Matt Milano, now Terrell Bernard. They lost a couple of more guys in that game. We learned that Kincaid wouldn't be available in that game last night. I mean, the hits just keep coming. They do have a bye coming up. And even the coach and Josh Allen said last night, like, listen, we got to try to hit the reset button, and they will. I mean, the one thing they do better than anybody else, Donnie, and you saw it again last night, is when they need to run the ball, they'll run the ball. But that defense, you lot not one, but just 2 guys torch you for over 300 yards. That can't happen. They better figure it out in a hurry.
I got to tell you, because you looked at it, and it is alarming. And again, it is ebb and flows of the NFL season. You're not going to win every game. You're going to look bad in some games. And Atlanta was rested for that game after the Buffalo Bills had played last week on a primetime game. But understand this, like, if you are, coming into the game as the Bills defense and you say, McDermott, what are we going to scheme up here on defense? Well, we know Bijan's going to run the football. Let's shut that down. 19 for 170. You go, okay, well, their wide receiver core is just as banged up as ours. Now, they do have a young superstar in Drake London, but let's roll coverage to his side. He got 16 targets, made 10 catches for 158 yards and a touchdown. Like, nobody, like Kyle Pitts was the second leading receiver who was a pass catcher outside of Bijan Robinson, 18 yards. Casey Washington, 2 targets, no catches here. So he basically said, I got to shut down Bijan Robinson, which is easier said than done, and have 1 wide receiver. They couldn't stop anybody there. And then their defense and offensive lines were a sieve in this football game. And as you said, they got even more injured. But I do want to credit there. You take a look at an Atlanta defense that was much maligned last year. Drafted some players that can get after the quarterback, and it paid off last night. 4 sacks, 2 picks, held the Bills to 2 of 9 on third down conversions and only allowed 14 points. After that wild first quarter, that Atlanta defense really sunk their teeth into that Buffalo offense, Joe.
Yeah, no, they did. And listen, that's why, kudos to Raheem Morris and company for spending the bye week working on some stuff defensively and getting it right. I mean, that's a lot. They didn't really spend a whole lot on the offensive side for Michael Penix Jr. They kind of revamped and reinvested everything on the defensive side, and you saw it come to fruition last night. But, I mean, the Bills looked like a shell of themselves, Don. This is a team that averaged 30-plus points through the first 4 games in the season, and now they've only managed 34 points off of the last 2 games. They have no wide receivers. Half of their tight end tandem is down, and they can't stop it. The defense can't get off the field. So that's a recipe for disaster right now for the Bills.
Yeah, have a nice hip drop tackle there on Josh Palmer. He had 2 catches for 60 yards up to that point. And when he went out of the football game, things got so much harder for the Buffalo Bills. And I say this too, like Khalil Shakir, 3 for 33. You get high paid money. You got to have a better performance than that, particularly in a loss. You're getting a lot of targets coming your way. But Keon Coleman, 3 catches, 11 yards. This was a guy that they drafted high, expecting to take over for Stephon Diggs. He's been really bad. He looks really slow and not a part of their game plan. You can't just lean on James Cook the entire game and say, hey, Josh Allen, just be Superman every game. Somebody has to step up. And I understand they were down some wide receivers last night, but that absolutely has to improve. For a team 2 weeks ago that we're looking at as maybe the front runner to win the NFL championship and the Super Bowl, it's probably not going to take place right now the way they look. But understand this,
Donnie,
still heavy favorites, Joe, in the East. Heavy.
Could it be A.J. Brown wearing a Bills uniform. I'm just saying, could it be A.J. Brown wearing a Bills uniform by the time we get to November? Just asking for a friend. Just asking.
A.J. Brown for Josh Allen. Make it happen. Could get real interesting in Philadelphia. How about that? Yeah. Give us back Josh Allen, pal. We'll be right back.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
You may be surprised, because I am, that the athlete in the world who has become the first billionaire is Cristiano Ronaldo. I did not know that, and I did not have that on my bingo card. So after his contract that he just signed, it means that he's the first athlete to ever earn $1 billion playing sports.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
This one's for you, Tommy Reynolds. I know you're a Rochester Americans guy, but the big team, the Buffalo Sabres, at home against the listless Rangers. Can we get plus 102? We can in overtime. Knockaroo does it again. Buffalo over the Rangers.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
I told you Vladimir Guerrero would hit a home run. He hits a home run on his first pitch. 2-run shot, 2-0 Jays. And I gave you Suarez earlier. I'm telling you, Scott, Contreras last night, Story the other night. Bro, every night I've been hitting these home run props. And not the easy Ohtani ones at old plus 190. Right. These are plus 450s, baby.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
The Early Line SportsGrid Network. Donnie Rightside here with Joe Ranieri, bright and early every day, Monday through Friday, 2 hours to set that table for you to get you ready for the rest of your SportsGrid day, and also maybe put a little bit more money in your pocket. Before we flip it over, Joe, to the Bears and the Washington Commanders game, I just want to go back to the East here, and that's the AFC East. Because the Buffalo Bills didn't look that great last night, but still, you need somebody to overtake them. It's not going to be the Jets. It's not going to be the Miami Dolphins. So we put our singular focus on the New England Patriots, who seem like they're growing each and every week. And as Joe, you pointed out, voila, bad football team gets better because a competent head coach has some talent to work with, and those things work together here. Is there any chance in your mind of taking a swing on the Patriots at plus 190, or is it like, hey, calm down. When it's all said and done, the Bills, when they get healthy, they will be the best team in the AFC East?
Well, yeah, I would do not overreact. And by the way, I believe the Patriots, for the first time in how long now, are atop the AFC East there in the number 1 position. It's kind of crazy.
True.
That we're heading back in that direction, right? So, yeah, it's been a while. But, yeah, the injuries are starting to take their toll on the Bills. But we've seen this. They have gone through these lulls in seasons past with Josh Allen. I would not be jumping ship here through 6 weeks of the season, Donnie. Stay the course. It's nice with New England. I mean, they've righted the ship, and they're going to be good. They found their quarterback, we think. But let's settle down here. A lot of football still to be played.
There is a lot of football to be played, and also a doubleheader from last night. Game number 2. You had that, 7:15 start, 8:15 start from the nation's capital. A little wind out there, a little rain in the forecast, but these teams did move the football pretty well. The final score, 25-24, the Chicago Bears. They were getting 5.5 points at game time, and between 50 points, 49 points is what that total was. 25-24, get out your calculator. That's 49 points. Impressive win for Caleb Williams and the Bears, but I always like to start here, Joe. Forget about the first half, lead at the half. You're the Washington Commanders. You're looking to salt this game away. You can't have a fumble on a simple exchange here that ends up costing you the football game. Washington did it to themselves, Joe. They did.
And the ironic part about this, and again, we talked about it yesterday on the show, Donnie. We said, listen, weather could play a problem in this game with the nor'easter. It rained. It rained there all day. It was raining all throughout the game. The wind was picking up. So it made things a little bit slippery because Washington, to their credit, up until this game, Donnie, they were one of the best teams not turning the ball over. Like they had done a very, very good job under Dan Quinn holding on to the ball, but not last night. And again, if you lose the turnover battle and you give up 3 turnovers in that spot, which led, I believe, to points on each opportunity that Chicago got the ball back, that's a problem. And they did it with a backup kicker, by the way, the Bears, too. So kudos to them. But you got to hold on to the ball, and Washington just didn't do it. Washington could have won that game, should have won the game, but you turn the ball over 3 times, you're not winning any game.
Yeah, take a look at, like, if you're going yesterday and saying, okay, let's get to the odds market here, take a look at some of these props that we like. Like DeAndre Swift didn't have a lot of buy on, guys yesterday. 14 for 108, 7.7 yards per carry, and a couple really key runs on that final drive to salt that clock away and get them closer into field goal range. You take a look on the other side for Washington, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. He has 17 for 61 and Jaden Daniels 10 for 52. But then you look at the wide receiver core. Didn't really show up on either side. Like Chris Moore, 3 for 46. Most people won't even understand who that even is. Zach Ertz was decent. Luke McCaffrey even had a catch. But Deebo Samuel, 4 catches for 15 yards. Flip it to the other side. Roma Dunze is growing into his young superstar in the NFL. 2 catches for 32 yards. It was really some of the other guys that stepped up in the biggest moments in this game, Joe.
Yeah, well, it was. I mean, and again, the passing game was going to be tough in the conditions, and we kind of knew that there. But they were able to, even that long run from Swift there was on a little check down. I mean, it was a little swing round. That was it. He took it and he took off. So it was good that Chicago, at least coming out of the break, figured out, went back to the drawing board and said, listen, we've got to run the football. And then we can open some things up in the passing game. And that worked perfectly. Washington needs to get back, who, ASAP here for Daniels. The sooner he gets back, the better it will be for that offense.
Yeah, they do need a little bit of a jump start there. But you figure that was one of those games where Deebo probably would shine. Now, he came into the game a little bit banged up with the heel issue, but in the rain, it's like, hey, get that guy on short outs, short crossing routes. He'll be able to shake off tackles. Weren't able to do that last night, but still, at the end of the football game, they were in control, and a bad handoff exchange, which cost them the game. Chicago was able to capitalize, move down the field, and kick that winning field goal to walk it off. But Caleb Williams, hey, you know what's happening here? The fact that you don't have a defensive coordinator as a head coach, and maybe your head coach can sit down and watch some film. How about 5 straight games here of 200 yards and at least 1 touchdown to begin the season? Bears aren't really used to getting any quarterback play from anybody here. Feels great. The Bears got a winning record and a quarterback that looks like he's starting to flourish here.
Well, and it looks like they finally have figured out the right combination here. Do not put it all on him. Do not ask him to drop back 50 times a game. You got to have other guys, Donnie, to your point, stepping up there and opening things up for him. And if he does, and again, the big thing to me was he didn't make any of those stupid decisions because the Commanders did come after him. But the problem is you come after him and you're giving up 100 yards rushing on the ground. All of a sudden you can't, you just can't be sending guys if nobody can stop the rush, which is exactly what happened last night.
By the way, we're early in the Chicago Bears tenure. Like, you have superstars that you're trying to line up, young players that you think can step up here, particularly in Caleb Williams. But I got to tell you this. Like, we are, 6 weeks into the season? When we watched the NFL draft in the first round, like, I remember watching a lot of Penn State football last year. Like, this Tyler Warren kid, whoever he goes to, he is going to be an absolute can't-miss monster. You take a look at what he's doing with Shane Steichen's offense for the Colts. He looks absolutely fantastic. Forget about being a rookie. Hit the ground running, much like we saw last year from Brock Bowers. But sometimes we outsmart ourselves. And why do I bring up the Chicago Bears? Like, Colston Loveland went ahead of Tyler Warren because they thought they saw something more dynamic and more athletic that they can use in their offense. Still early in his career. We're not saying he's a bust at this point. They don't use him at all. Like last night, 2 catches, 11 yards. He is insignificant for a high first-round draft pick when you have the clear choice. It almost reminds me, and it's not fair right now because, again, they are early. Jalen Reagor getting drafted to the Philadelphia Eagles ahead of Justin Jefferson. It's like, are we outsmarting ourselves here when you know the better player is, well, his upside could be much bigger? Stop the madness. Like, we're getting nothing out of Colston Loveland for the Chicago Bears right now. I can't figure it out.
Well, I think a lot of that, too, is scheme right now is that they're not using him as a weapon. That offensive line still has some issues there. Yeah. And, you know, a lot of times he's staying put. A lot of times he's adding block, adding support there on the side. So, yeah, I think eventually getting him. We know what Ben Johnson loves to do with tight ends, right? We've already seen this. He will eventually get him involved, but I think he's got to get a little more confidence in that offensive line so he can maybe open things up a little bit more.
Yeah, it's interesting to me. And again, we're not saying he's not going to turn out because he is a physical specimen, but just when you have that surefire pick on the board and you sort of outsmart yourself because of maybe scheme fit for you as opposed to just taking the better player and making him work for you, that's what we might be seeing now there. Also, let's take a look at the odds market here to win the NFC North, Joe. The Packers at a minus 110 price picked up a victory this past weekend. The Lions, who lost, plus 165. Then the Vikings at plus 950. And the Bears, not a lot of respect, at 11-1. A very competitive division here. The Lions banged up a huge game coming up on Monday Night Football. Is it the Packers? Do we trust the Packers enough? Because something still leaves me a little bit short. I go, yeah, the Packers are a really good football team. And I want to keep bringing myself back and not say, hey, Packers, you're taking care of this business. I want to bet you right now.
Yeah, Packers haven't looked good here in a while, Donnie. I mean, it wasn't like they just ran over the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, it wasn't like they went into Dallas as a touchdown favorite and This team has not looked the part since early on in this season here. So, their time could be due. I mean, congrats. You win the game. But there's something not right with this Green Bay team.
I love football. Like, I love talking football. I love doing these shows where we primarily talk football. It's fantastic stuff. And yet we're hearing about college basketball starting to creep in and all this good stuff here. That shows you how action-packed things are going to be here for the early line. Did you know, people? There were 2 baseball games on yesterday. Did you bet and win those 2 baseball games? Let's talk about what happened and the damage being done in the American League.
Hopefully these go better. I'm smashed before 1 on these games. I cannot believe that this game destroyed me. I can. Why did I get involved live? That's on me. Not
that
you.
Is on you.
All right.
That's on you.
You didn't have to run up the score. I said it was on me.
It was on you.
Right.
You just didn't see the writing on the wall. Knee it! Let's get out of Dodge!
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Can I get an ISO? Come on. Give me the ISO over here.
Give me the ISO. He wants the camera.
Look, I'm going to get nice and comfortable right now. I've been telling you people out there, yes, you people, about the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. My connection to the Irish growing up as a kid. I hated that team. But they called me at the network the most unbiased man here, which means I'm giving you the information straight from the mouth here. You don't have to go anywhere. You get it from me.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
You're looking at Joe Burrow being the guy that I was in on the beginning of the year. Clearly, that is no longer an option. So where are we looking on this board? And I keep landing on the same thing, which is, Baker Mayfield's been kind of the story this year. Think about this. He's plus 950 for MVP. They look like right now one of the, if not the most formidable team in the NFC.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
I apologize to our fans. We need to do better. That's all you need to say, Scott, right? But Tua goes out there, my kids love me. I'm rich. I don't care. You got your dumbass coach coming out here, and we play to win. You got to win the game, and you got to win. And, the Dolphins press conferences make it way worse. If I was a Dolphin fan, I just want to punch these guys in the face.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
ALCS game number 2 yesterday, NLCS game number 1. Let's start in Toronto, a must-win situation for the Toronto Blue Jays. Now, it's not a 3-game series where if you lose game number 2 or after losing game number 1, you're out, or a 5-game series, which really puts you behind the 8 ball. You have to win 3 straight games. But in a 7-game series, you still can't lose 2 games, and particularly, Joe, lose both of those games at home in your own building. But that's what happened last night. The Seattle Mariners continue to pound away, 10-3 victory over the Toronto Blue Jays. And we did have questions coming into this game. What were we going to get out of Yasavage, the young pitcher for the Toronto Blue Jays? Maybe exactly what you thought. 4 innings pitched, 5 earned runs. The bullpen was an absolute mess for the Blue Jays. Gilbert wasn't even particularly good, Joe. 3 innings pitched, 3 runs, 2 of those earned, but the bullpen was so much better for the Mariners, and the bats came to play, which included multiple home runs last night. The Mariners just look like the better team right now than the Blue Jays, Joe.
No, without a doubt. I mean, there's something to be said, right, for maybe just continuing to roll, Donnie, and not have that breather and being able to exhale might be working to Seattle's favor, because when you look at the gauntlet of games and the things that they've had to do to get to this point, and they just never stop. Meanwhile, you know, Toronto looks like a shell of what they did against the Yankees series. And, you know, my fear heading into this was, in Toronto's mind, did they just win the World Series because they beat the Yankees and got past them? Because at home, they looked hapless here. They looked hapless at the plate. And that's a big problem for the team that won the most games in the American League in that ballpark. They're not good on the road, and we've pointed that out all season long, and yet now they got to win 4 of the next 5 games. 3 of them going to be on the road, Donnie. Not great here for Toronto.
No, certainly not great for Toronto there. You need that offense to bounce back, but more importantly, you got to get that pitching staff back together. You go to a true pitcher's ballpark as opposed to a true hitter's ballpark in Toronto as the series shifts back to the Mariners. And again, 2-0 series leads. Like, okay, if you lost the first 2 games on the road, let's win our games at home. That's not the case. And also understand this too. I believe they are 2-3-2 series, which means 3 games in a row in Seattle, where they just have to basically win a weekend series, and you don't even go back to Toronto at this point. That could be devastating news. But if you look at the odds for the Toronto Blue Jays to come back, it's a plus 460 price. You take a look at the favorites there, the Mariners, at a minus 650 price. I don't know if anybody really wants to take the Mariners at that level, but boy, I'd be hard-pressed to think the Toronto Blue Jays are going to win 4 out of the next 5 games against the Mariners. I don't think that's happening.
And there's really no excuse here, because they had their everything set up, the starting pitching set up, everything they wanted, but you know, there's a big difference, and the rookie learned it when, you know, your team stakes you to a 4 or 5 run lead, and you can go out there and pitch with no problem. It's a totally different ball game when all of a sudden you're down in this game, and boy, the wheels fell off in a hurry for not just him, but that middle relief and that bullpen. Meanwhile, you nailed it. The difference in this series has been the Mariners bullpen and what they've been able to do coming in game 1 and game 2. I mean, they have just shut the door, Donnie. The minute the bullpen has gotten involved for Seattle, and they didn't have to use any of their big guys yesterday again, but they I mean, where were the bats? Where's the offense from Toronto? Supposed to be at the Rogers Center. Well, Seattle's bullpen said not today, and now 87%, I think, that go up 2-0 in a best of 7, eventually go on to win that series, Donnie, for a reason.
Yeah. Yep. And by the way, you saw Seattle put that pressure on early, and you figured that, oh, look at that. Toronto matched them and tied it back up. Now it's time to get back on it. And it wasn't. 7 unanswered runs there by the Mariners, and they absolutely blasted the Toronto Blue Jays. And we'll see what happens in game number 3, which I believe is coming up tomorrow. But there was another game last night. Now, truth be told, I actually thought Toronto was the right side in game number 1, but also thought the Los Angeles Dodgers, the other favorite, were the right side in game number 2. And what a game we had, which included an unbelievable theatrical double play ball on a ball that could have been a grand slam that turned into a bobble, non-catch double play. And I couldn't, I had the sound off, Joe, because, you know, you can watch, I was watching the NFL game, but I said, what just happened in that game? And I had to turn it on to get the explanation. And I'm telling you, Joe, it took me a half hour in my own mind to unwork what actually happened and why that turned into a double play. But the correct calls were made by the umpire, and a base running blunder here by the Los Angeles Dodgers. They're lucky that didn't cost them the game. The Dodgers still win, even though in just a few moments, Joe, I'm going to talk about what happened in the 9th inning. But talk to me about when you saw that double play. Like, what just happened out there?
I was laughing, Donnie, because the guy who hit the ball really thought that was going to be a home run. He thought he had a grand slam, and I think so did everyone else on the base pass there. But it was just a unbelievable sequence of events. The level of stupidity for the Dodger runners on base, the third base coach. But give credit to Milwaukee too, and Frelick, who. Listen, he stayed with that play. It was almost like it was one fluid motion. And I could get, maybe you didn't see the ball bounce out of his glove off the wall back into his glove because he was right at the wall. It was kind of crazy there. But the minute they did, it was like everything stopped for the Dodgers. Everybody was frozen going, did he just catch that ball? Did he not catch that ball? Like what? And before you knew it, think about how important it was to hit the cutoff man, Donnie. And then throw the ball to home plate and get him there. So the Brewers did exactly. A lot of teams would have fumbled that, but the Brewers give them credit for executing it.
Yeah, it's almost like the center fielder who was paying attention enough not just to catch that ball and wildly flail it in. Just to, I just got to get the ball in. Somebody help me out. That was a tic-tac-toe play that, by the way, if it wasn't tic-tac-toe, Hernandez actually scores on that play here. So it's amazing the way it worked out. Now let's flip it over to the ninth inning, Joe. Because I know it's the human element that does creep in. But you have to understand time and place. And I bring up a guy that used to play in Philadelphia, Chase Utley. He'd understand the mission here. There's bases loaded. Your only means is I got to get on base to extend this game. Base hit will probably win it here, but at least I have to get on base. You acted like you were in the Matrix, getting out of the way from a sweeping curveball to not get hit, to only strike out. And I understand Bryce Trang. Hey, look, it comes in the mind where you're not supposed to get hit with the baseball. Again, with Tasker Hernandez on third base, Joe, understand what part of the game it is. Throw your leg out there. Get hit. You're going to extras.
Different era, Donnie. There was an era in baseball where guys would have dove right into it wouldn't even been close.
Off their head. They would have bent down on their head.
Anything to get on. Not this generation of baseball player. They are going to do everything they can, including strike out. Unreal.
Brutal, people. We'll be back.
Hopefully these go better. I'm smashed before one on these games. I cannot believe that this game destroyed me. I can. Why did I get involved live? That's on me, not
That
you.
is on you.
All right.
That's on you.
You didn't have to run up the score. I said it was on me.
It was on you.
Right.
You just didn't see the writing on the wall. Knee it! Let's get out of Dodge!
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Can I get an ISO? Come on. Give me the ISO over here.
Give me the ISO. He wants the camera.
Look, I'm going to get nice and comfortable right now. I've been telling you people out there, yes, you people, about the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. My connection to the Irish growing up as a kid. I hated that team. But they called me at the network the most unbiased man here, which means I'm giving you the information straight from the mouth here. You don't have to go anywhere. You get it from me.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
You're looking at Joe Burrow being the guy that I was in on the beginning of the year. Clearly, that is no longer an option. So where are we looking on this board? And I keep landing on the same thing, which is, Baker Mayfield's been kind of the story this year. Think about this. He's plus 950 for MVP. They look like right now one of the, if not the most formidable team in the NFC.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
I apologize to our fans. We need to do better. That's all you need to say, Scott, right? But Tua goes out there, my kids love me. I'm rich. I don't care. You got your dumbass coach coming out here, and we play to win. You got to win the game, and you got to win. And, dude, the Dolphins press conferences make it way worse. If I was a Dolphin fan, I just want to punch these guys in the face.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Oh, yeah. News and notes around the NFL because a lot of things happening. It feels like, Joe, all we keep doing is talking about injuries here. Every time you pop on your TV, some teams down their entire offensive line, their entire wide receiving core, their entire defensive backfield, superstar players getting injured at all of the wrong times. And one of those guys here is Puka Nacua. That's the last guy you want to see down. But it looks like we escaped here without major damage. Sean McVay said Puka Nacua is considered day-to-day due to his sprained ankle, remains uncertain as to whether he'll be able to play Sunday in London versus the Jaguars. Probably resting him up at that point, but left the game early. Could have been worse, but wasn't. But boy, oh boy, what a rash of injuries we're seeing across the NFL. And one of the best in Puka Nacua might be down for this week as well.
Yeah, and it's, the injuries aren't escaping anybody. We talked about it earlier. I mean, you had a backup kicker having to show up here. We've seen that a few times already this year where Buffalo, went into a game without a kicker. They had to, sign guys off the street. Santos gets hurt, can't go. They got to bring in Jake Moody off the street in order to. So it's not just the guys in the trenches or but it's across the board, Donnie. The injuries are absolutely crazy here. And listen, in this day and age of the NFL, depth is a problem for a lot of teams here that have these, $500 million quarterbacks. They can't afford a whole lot of depth. And we're starting to see what a couple of guys here or there really mean to a team. And some guys you just can't overcome.
Some players you want to hear from, some coaches you want to hear from, some coaches having bad seasons. Don't take the mic anymore. But here's Aaron Glenn. Loves that microphone.
You know what? Here's what, I thought about this a lot last night. I thought about the question that was asked. And when you look at what Justin did, the games that he played, listen, I didn't think he was bad at all. I actually thought he did some pretty good things in those 4 games. In this 5th game, he took a step back, and I'm with you guys 100%. And we can't have that. We have to get better than that. And he knows that. And he knows that better than anyone, so I don't think you just try to bench a player after having one true bad game, because I thought the other games he played fairly well.
I don't know, man, Joe. Look, I'm not even going to answer. You are a Jets fan. Translate this for me, please.
Same old Jets.
Well, I'll translate it for you. I have no idea what I'm doing. I am in way over my head. Can I just be the defensive coordinator? That would be great. Thanks. The question wasn't, is he still going to think? The real question was, why didn't you pull him after he clearly was taking a step back and you had an opportunity to win the game and you had a healthy Tyrod Taylor, a veteran on the team that could have came in and gave the offense a spark in any way? Why didn't you do that? And the answer is because I'm in way over my head. Please let me just be a defensive coordinator.
And you're so right on this, too, because understand what's going to happen here. Let's just say the Jets don't win a single football game. They'll probably win one. It's the NFL. But let's just say they get the number 1 overall pick. They go quarterback. You're left with a defensive coordinator as your head coach. You can't do this. You can't do this. Like, if you expect your team, like, we have a veteran quarterback, let me bring in a defensive-minded coordinator, like similar to what we've seen like a Sean McDermott, right? Like, it works out in Buffalo because Josh Allen's turned into be a fantastic quarterback. Brian Dable helped them get there. But if we're just going to go that route of, hey, Caleb Williams looks terrible because you have a defensive head coach in Eberflus, we'll let him go. And, oh, look, they look competent because you have a pretty good offensive coordinator being your head coach. Like, the Jets are almost doing this backwards where it really hurts. And the fact that he's saying simply, well, he played good in the first game. You don't have a win. Your quarterback is not good enough to win football games. What are you watching? That's what it turns into at this point right now. But injuries to wide receivers, they continue to pile up. And look at Tampa Bay. Like Baker, I don't even know how you're scoring. I don't know how you're winning football games. Mike Evans, Egbuka, Godwin, McMillan, Irvin, all out right now in the Bucs. Continue to win and put up statistics. Baker for MVP, baby.
One of the things I've always said, Donnie, for years here on this show with you is that, listen, receivers don't make quarterbacks. Quarterbacks make receivers.
True.
Okay? Brady did it. Never had anybody where it didn't make a difference what the name on the jersey was. Baker is doing it. It doesn't make a difference what the name in the back of the jersey is that he's throwing the ball. If you put the ball in a place that the receiver can catch it, good things will happen. Quarterbacks make receivers, not the other way around, Donnie.
Let me tell you what Joe is actually saying here. Played wide receiver in college and in high school. There are times where I ran routes, Joe, and like no matter what was going to happen, I was wide open. I was never going to be able to get that football. And there were times where I was running routes going like, you know what? This guy can get me the football. It's a completely different mindset. Look at what he's doing, because when wide receivers run routes, they expect to get the football. There's nothing worse than wide receivers running routes like A.J. Brown in Philadelphia and not getting the football. That'll drive you crazy, people. But you know what will drive you even more crazy? Hour number 2 coming up next with all the information we have, action-packed, ready for you. We'll be back.